Before you were born, a choice was made. And the most challenging part is that this choice was made by you. The soul that inhabits your body now, with all its sensitivity, intuition, and scars, chose to live this exact life. With these parents, these encounters, these losses, and these trials. And no, this doesn't mean that everything is predestined or that you don't have free will. It means there is a silent contract, a vibrational alignment between what your soul needed to experience and what the universe offered as a field of learning. When you look at your life with more spiritual maturity, this perspective starts to make sense. When you realize that the most difficult relationships are often the ones that most activate your growth. That recurring challenges are not punishments, but mirrors of something unresolved in deeper layers of your existence. And even if you don't remember any of this today, you are not here by chance. There is something in you, a fragment, an energetic memory, that recognizes these words. In this video, you will understand how your soul chose this life before birth, what happens behind the spiritual scenes before incarnation, and why some of the challenges you face today are important keys to your awakening. It is a call to remember who you truly are and why you chose to forget so you could remember. If this touches you, it's because your soul is ready to hear what it planned itself. Before any body, name, or story, there was consciousness. And that consciousness, the one you now call me, had a moment of choice. Many people think that life simply happens, but what few know is that the soul, before incarnating, goes through a process of preparation and decision. There is a kind of pre-life, where you visualize possibilities, review past karmas, meet with your guides, and decide which experiences you will need to go through to move forward in your spiritual journey. You chose your family, even the one that hurt you. You chose the environment you would be born into, even if it was hard or unstable. You chose the encounters, the disguised teachers, the challenges that now seem unfair. And why? Because on the other side of the veil, you could see clearly. Without ego, without fear, without resentment. You saw everything as learning, every obstacle as a lever to expand your consciousness. Many souls give up on this incarnation before even coming, because they know living on earth is not simple. The emotional density, the forgetting, the pain of separation, all of that is part of the experience. But you came. You said yes. You knew you would forget everything when you got here. You knew you would have to remember step by step, through choices, synchronicities, intuitions, and silences. That is the courage of the awakened soul. Are you willing to stop fighting what your soul chose and start understanding why it made those choices? You didn't come to Earth alone, and certainly not without a plan. In the silence of the spiritual world, before being born, your soul gathered with other souls with whom it shares deep bonds, ancient connections that go beyond time and space. These are known as soul contracts. A soul contract is a vibrational agreement made in full consciousness for two or more souls to meet in a lifetime with a specific purpose. To teach, to heal, to challenge, to protect, to set free. Sometimes with love, other times with pain. Don't think of these contracts as unchangeable pacts. They are more like flexible scripts. They have a central purpose, but you can choose how you will respond to it. This is where your free will comes in. Parents who challenged you, loves that broke you, friendships that faded. All of them on invisible levels may have been part of this plan. This doesn't mean you should accept abuse or romanticize suffering. It simply means that behind every meaningful encounter, there is a hidden geometry, something carefully designed to spark your growth. Some contracts last a lifetime. Others only last long enough to activate something within you. When the purpose is fulfilled, the bond either dissolves or transforms. And if you feel that someone came out of nowhere and changed everything, maybe you're just reconnecting with a soul you agreed to meet at exactly this moment. Life is more carefully designed than it seems. Samsara is the name given to the wheel of existence, being born, dying, and being reborn again and again. The soul goes through these stages because there is still something it needs to learn or unlearn. It returns because of unresolved energetic ties, unbalanced karmas, lessons that can only be understood through the physical experience. Reincarnation is not a punishment. It is a chance, a sacred opportunity to correct, to integrate, and to expand. But there is one condition for reincarnating: forgetting. The soul, when it is born, momentarily loses the memory of everything it has been and the reason why it chose this journey. This is what is called the veil of forgetting. This is not a mistake. It is part of the plan. If you remembered everything, there would be no merit in evolving. There would be no effort in making conscious choices. Forgetting allows the learning to be real, to discover love, empathy, forgiveness, and creative power, as if for the first time. That's why many people awaken with a feeling of, "I already knew this," when they hear spiritual truths, because deep down they already did. They're simply accessing memories that had been asleep. The cycle of samsara repeats as long as the soul makes the same mistakes, avoids the same pains, or tries to control what should be accepted with wisdom. But it begins to dissolve when you understand that your current life is just one chapter of a much greater story, and that the goal is not to collect experiences, but to transcend the game to the point where you can live on Earth without getting lost in it. Do you feel stuck in the repetition of patterns, people, or situations? Maybe you're touching the center of the wheel, the exact point where liberation can begin. What many see as spiritual punishment is actually a precise mechanism of energetic balance. Every thought, every action, every intention leaves a vibrational mark on the soul's field. The universe doesn't judge, it simply responds. Karma doesn't trap you. You are not condemned to repeat anything forever, because between the stimulus and the response, there is something sacred: free will. Even if you brought karmic tendencies from past lives, fears, emotional patterns, unresolved relationships, you can still choose how to respond to them now. Karma proposes the situation. Free will defines the reaction. It's a constant dance between what your soul needs to experience and what your consciousness chooses to do. That's why many people keep repeating the same patterns. They live on autopilot, react the same way, attract the same types of people, and then say, "It's my karma." But it's not. It's the lack of conscious choice. The true spiritual path begins when you realize that karma is not something to fear, but something to observe. Every event in your life carries a clue. As the Hermetic principle of cause and effect says, every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause. But what you do with that is up to you. Before incarnating, your soul was guided, counseled, and surrounded by beings who are still with you today. These are your spiritual guides, beings who deeply know your journey and who chose to walk with you, not to interfere, but to bring light. These guides may show up through strong intuitions, recurring dreams, specific synchronicities, words that appear at just the right time, or an unexplainable feeling of, "I need to go this way." And beyond the guides, there is an even subtler field: soul groups. Imagine a spiritual network of beings who evolve together. Souls who reincarnate in different roles: parent, friend, partner, even enemy, to mirror each other. Within these groups, there are encounters with soulmates. But don't be mistaken. A soulmate isn't always a romantic love. It can be someone who awakens you, challenges you, transforms you. Can be brief, intense, sometimes painful. The key is not time, it's vibrational impact. If someone made you change your path, expand your awareness, or touch an old wound, that person might be part of your soul group. These encounters are not random. They are agreed upon, and they happen at the exact moment your soul is ready to take the next step. When the body becomes still, the soul awakens. And with this expansion of consciousness, something inevitable happens. The life review. Death is not the end. It is a return. This moment is not a judgment. There is no heavenly courtroom, no punishment from outside. What exists is clarity. The soul reviews every choice, every word spoken, every gesture ignored. But the most impactful part is that it feels deeply the effects of what it caused. It experiences what the other person felt. If you cause someone pain, you feel it. If you were a source of healing, you feel that too. And this is the true learning. It's at this point that the soul understands where it acted in alignment with its purpose and where it strayed. Where it let fear decide, where it stayed silent when it should have acted, where it repeated patterns it had once vowed to leave behind. Some souls, upon realizing the full impact of their choices, ask to return. Others wait for the right time to reincarnate with a new plan for evolution. The life review is not about punishment, it's about vibrational responsibility. Nothing you do here is lost. Everything is recorded, not as guilt but as awareness. And if today you already feel regret for something, if you feel the urge to repair, to act with more truth, to break patterns, this is a sign that your soul is maturing even before departure. What would you like to feel when you review your own life? The only thing that will go with you is what you did with the time you had here. As long as consciousness is tied to ego, fear, and attachment, it will keep returning, coming back to try again with different names, different pains, different tests. But a moment comes when the soul awakens. And when that happens, it no longer wants to repeat. It wants to transcend. In the Vedic tradition, this is called moksha, liberation from the cycle of rebirths. In Buddhism, it is nirvana, the end of suffering caused by illusion. In Hermetic teachings, it is the return to the One, the original source from which all things arise. This liberation doesn't happen when you die. It happens in life when you begin to see everything with new eyes. When you realize you are not the body, not the social roles, not the traumas you've experienced. When you understand that everything is temporary, even pain. When attachment weakens and silence begins to have meaning. To be free is to stop living reactively and start living with intention. It is to step out of unconscious repetition and into conscious creation. And you know you're getting close to this state when you begin to feel something very simple and very rare at the same time. Peace. Awakening is not an event. It is a daily choice. And even though your soul chose this life before birth, you still need to choose to live it consciously. There are spiritual practices that can activate memories, dissolve patterns, and realign your energy with your soul's original plan. The first is meditation, not as an escape but as a return to your center. Meditation quiets the ego's noise so you can hear what has always been inside. 10 minutes a day is enough to begin reconnecting with the frequency of your higher self. The second practice is sincere self-reflection. Write down your reactions, observe your triggers, question your impulses. Who is acting for you, your trauma or your awareness? The more clarity you bring to the present, the more control you gain over your spiritual path. The third tool is forgiveness. Not surface-level forgiveness, but the kind that dissolves karmic chains. When you forgive, you're not saying, "What they did was right." You're saying, "This will no longer define me." True forgiveness breaks cycles that span lifetimes. And finally, raise your vibrational frequency. Nourish yourself well, breathe with awareness, stay close to what inspires you. The soul vibrates, the mind tunes in, the body manifests. It all begins with the vibration you choose to sustain. Do you want to shift from survival mode to purpose mode? Then it's not enough to know your soul chose this life. It's time to honor that choice with conscious action. Awakening doesn't come with easy promises. It comes with responsibility, but also with freedom, with clarity, with power. And the truth is, you can choose to live differently starting today. If this message touched something within you, don't ignore it. Feel it, embrace it, and share it. Maybe another soul, lost in forgetfulness, is waiting for this very reminder. Subscribe here to keep receiving content that doesn't speak to the ego, but to what is most true within you. We'll meet again in the next video. Until then, remember, you are here for a reason.